I'm so grateful that you've tuned in today. I'm so happy to have you here. Whether you're listening from your car, you're listening from your kitchen, or wrapped in a cozy blanket somewhere, I'm happy to have you here today. I'm Brandi Kahn. I'm an intuitive astrologer, and this is Stellar Parenting. I also hold a Master of Science degree in psychology with an emphasis in child and adolescent development. And I'm really passionate about helping parents to custom design their parenting approach based on their child's natal chart. If you are interested in having a session, I have a 5 week comprehensive program called the Stellar Parenting Method. And you can get more information about that on my website, brandycon.com. So, for today's show, we're going to be talking about something really close to the heart. Okay. We're going to be talking about signs from our loved ones in heaven, how they reach out, how we can receive their messages, and then how we can trust that love never dies. And after that, we'll talk about our transits for this week. And there's a really big transit today that's going to help you level up to reach another level. So you want to stick around, hang around for that. But first, let's start with the signs from our loved ones in the spirit world. So when someone we love passes away, we often wonder, are they still here with me? Can they hear me? Can they see me? And the truth is, our loved ones are not gone. They've simply stepped into another dimension. And it's another dimension that's just as real as this one, but it's not visible to the physical eye. And many times our loved ones will reach out to let us know that they are okay. And the signs that they send can be very subtle or incredibly obvious. But one thing's for sure, when you receive a sign, when you experience one, you feel it in your soul and you know that it's not a random coincidence. So maybe you've had moments like this already. Maybe you've heard your loved one's favorite song out of nowhere. Maybe you found a feather, you see repeating numbers, or you smell their perfume. And today I'm going to talk to you about the most common signs that our loved ones send from the other side and how to recognize them when they arrive. So, number one, we're going to talk about coins, especially pennies and dimes. This is one of the most classic signs from loved ones in the spirit world. So, finding a coin in an unexpected place, like on your pillow or in your shoe, is often a message saying, I'm with you. And dimes in particular are very, very common. And I have a personal story about that. My father passed in 2016, and ever since, dimes will show up during emotionally pivotal moments. And this is how it started for me. So my dad passed in 2016, and about 3 weeks after he passed, I was going to bed late one night, still dealing with a lot of grief. My husband was on call at the hospital. He's a physician. So I had the bedroom all to myself that night. I didn't even have the strength to pull back the comforter and crawl underneath when it was time to go to bed. I just got my favorite blanket, laid on top of the comforter, and I went to sleep for the night. So when I woke up the next morning, I stood up from bed and I remember hearing something hit the floor. I looked down on the floor and there was a dime. It's almost as if someone had placed a dime on the blanket that I chose to cover me up during the night. And I knew without a doubt that that was a sign from my father. And throughout the years, during certain moments after I've been talking about him or thinking about him, or during really emotional times, dimes will show up. So, for example, last week, I had a really vivid dream of my dad, so real, like he was almost there with me. And when I woke up the next morning, right on the floor by the bed, there was a dime. And I know that that was my dad's way of letting me know that he had really been there with me. So you too might find dimes, you might find pennies. And you might know that it carries a special significance for you from your loved one. The second sign, very common, feathers, especially white ones. So, white feathers are beautiful symbols of purity and protection. And if you find one in an unusual place, like you find it inside your house somewhere, it could be your loved one saying, "You're not alone." Next, we have music. So, our loved ones will often speak to us through songs, through music. And sometimes their favorite song will come on just when you need to hear it, just when you need that comfort. Or you might hear lyrics from another song that will answer questions that you've been asking. So, pay attention to that. Dreams. Visitation dreams are vivid, they're peaceful, and they are emotionally healing, and they don't feel like regular dreams. That's how you'll know the difference. They don't feel like a regular dream. You might wake up feeling as if you were truly holding your loved one. You were truly like you were giving them a hug or they were speaking to you like they were actually in the room with you. And that will be because they were there with you. And next we have nature and animals. Those can be used as signs as well. So we're talking about nature and animals. Think about cardinals, think about bluebirds, butterflies, dragonflies. Okay, these can be used as spiritual messengers. And if you keep seeing the same animal or the same bird right after someone passes, especially during your moments of grief, it might not be a coincidence. And then finally, another very common sign, electrical flickers or tech glitches. So there could be lights flickering, your phone going off for no reason, or music starting to play all by itself. Our loved ones can sometimes manipulate electricity to let us know that they're near. So these are just a few ways that your loved one could reach out to you from the spirit world. But the key here is to stay open, pay attention to patterns, and most of all, trust your intuition. If you feel like it's a sign, it probably is. Now, let's talk about how to create a space for these signs to come through more clearly. Number one, I want you to say it out loud. So, and when I say it out loud, what I mean is I want you to talk to your loved ones, okay? Say their names, ask them for a sign, and let them know that it's okay for them to visit you because spirit is always going to honor your own free will. Next, you want to make sure that you're keeping a journal of your signs. So every time you get a sign, every time you receive a message, write it down. And over a period of time, you'll start to see beautiful patterns that really reaffirm the presence of your loved one in spirit. And stay present, okay? So signs often come when we're not distracted. So it could be during a walk, while you're washing the dishes, while you're resting. The more present you are, the easier it will be for you to recognize those signs when they are given to you. And really, here, I want you to trust the unseen, okay? We live in a society that really prioritizes and values logic over intuition. But love and spirit operate in a world beyond logic. And if something brings you a sense of peace or comfort or joy, then it's real. It's real for you. And that's the only validation that you need. So if you've been longing to feel your loved one's presence again, I want to remind you of this. They are not gone, they are not far. They walk with you in every step of your journey. And when you pause, breathe, and listen, they're right there with you. So as you move throughout your day, I want you to keep your heart open and I want you to look for signs. Spirit speaks to us in whispers, in songs, in dimes, in dreams. So keep your heart open, look for the signs, say hello and thank you when you receive a sign. And most of all, I want you to know that you are deeply loved on both sides of the veil. Okay. So those are some of the most common ways that we will receive signs from our loved ones in the spirit world. And I invite you to, if you receive a sign, talk to someone about it, share it with a friend, share it with someone who you know is not going to laugh at you or they're not going to invalidate you. Talk about what you're receiving. But when you share, do it with someone that you know is going to respect where you're coming from without making you feel as if you're making it up or you're imagining it. So let's jump into our transits for this week. Today is Tuesday, May 20th. We have the sun at 29 degrees of Taurus, sextile Saturn, 29 degrees of Pisces. And this is really a great transit for getting things done. You'll be feeling really focused. You'll be feeling very disciplined. And this is an ideal time to knock out anything that needs to be done, especially when it comes to work or career, because you've got Saturn, the planet of discipline, commitment, and consistency, adding his energy into your life. And the sense of discipline and structure that he gives can really complement your sense of self. And this can help you to channel your energy into something long term and worthwhile. So, three things that I want you to do. This transit is for today, even tomorrow, you'll still be feeling the energy. I want you to set long term goals, clarify what you want, and take practical steps towards your goal, especially around your professional advancement or career advancement. The second thing I want you to do today, figure out how you can really establish or strengthen your sense of routine. If you do that, it's going to add a huge amount of stability into your life. And number three, it's a great day to seek guidance from a mentor that you might have or an elder, an older person, because their wisdom can be very impactful for you right now under this energy of Saturn. Three things to avoid. This is not the time to procrastinate or to be passive. It's the time to build momentum. Use this energy to your advantage to level up. Number two, don't ignore your responsibilities right now, or you could miss out on the rewards of Saturn. You really want to use this energy of Saturn. And number three, try not to be overly critical of yourself or of others during this transit. Also, today, Tuesday, May 20th, it's Gemini season. The sun moves into the air sign of Gemini. And with this move, the collective energy is going to shift into a much more social mode because Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury rules communication, thought, and learning. And this is going to bring more of a desire to connect, to network, and to learn new things. So, three things I want you to do this month over the next 4 weeks. I want you to write, speak, and share your ideas. And that could be through journaling, that could be through social media, podcasting, or public speaking. I just want you to realize this is a great time to express yourself. Number two, learn something new. So, over the next 4 weeks, take a new class or read about a new topic, expand your horizons that way. Number three, you could travel or take a short trip because Gemini rules short journeys. And so, right now, exploring your local area could bring a wave of fresh inspiration. Three things to avoid during Gemini season. Okay. I want you to avoid overcommitting or scattering your energy because doing too much can lead to burnout. So please remember that. Number two, remember, It's not time to gossip or to overshare information. So, Gemini loves to talk. Gemini loves to connect and communicate, but be mindful of spreading rumors or giving out too much personal information. And number three, try not to get stuck in your thoughts. Gemini is an air sign, and air signs are all about the mental aspect, thinking, how we communicate, how we relate to others. So try not to get stuck in your thoughts with all of this energy of air around, okay? Because if we get stuck in our thoughts, it's too easy to disconnect from our physical bodies. So I want you to make sure with all of the mental aspects, things that you will have going on this month, that you're still remembering to ground, to use grounding energy on a daily basis. For Thursday, May 22nd, Venus will be at 15 degrees of Aries, trining Mars at 15 degrees of Leo. Now, with this combination, there's harmony between the energy of Venus. And Venus represents our relating principles. She represents love, beauty, finances. And Mars is going to be all about action, passion, and enthusiasm. So, with this combination between Venus and Mars, this is a great transit for romance, for creativity, and for collaboration. So, three things that you can do during Venus trine Mars on Thursday. Number one, you can explore or deepen romantic connections. And you can do that even if you're married or single, okay? Because it's an ideal time for passion, to feel that magnetic chemistry between you and someone that you love. Number two, it's a great time to initiate creative projects, and that can be through music, it can be through painting, dancing, writing, or designing, because artistic expression will flow easily during this time. And number three, I want you to feel free to upgrade your appearance if that's what you feel called to do, because style, Venus rules beauty, okay? And Mars rules boldness. So don't be afraid to change your style. Don't be afraid to try a new look or to go for a makeover. Three things to avoid. I don't want you to be impulsive in love or money. The energy will be magnetic. Just like I mentioned a moment ago, the energy will be very magnetic with this Venus Mars trine. But don't let the chemistry override your sense of discernment if something feels off. Also, number two, I want you to watch out for overindulgence. Pleasure is amplified, but I want you to remember not to overdo it. Number three, it's not the time to have fear. So if there's something that you've been wanting to do it with a sense of flair instead. And on Saturday, May 24th, we will have the sun at 3 degrees of Gemini, trining Pluto at 3 degrees of Aquarius. Now, when the sun trines Pluto, it brings a powerful yet smooth wave of personal empowerment and transformation. The sun represents our identity, our ego, our willpower, our vitality. And Pluto represents inner strength and profound change and intensity. So, this is a really good transit to deepen your level of self awareness. Three things that you can do during Sun trine Pluto. I want you to really embrace your sense of empowerment. So you can step into a leadership role or claim authority somewhere where you've been playing small. It's time to step up. Number two, dive into shadow work, okay? And uncover any unconscious patterns that may be holding you back and release the fear around those patterns. Number three, it's a great time to clear out the old so you can detox your space, detox your mindset, and your relationships. And you can release anything that's been draining your energy. Three things to avoid during this time: controlling or manipulating others. Okay. I want you to avoid coercion or pushing people to do things your way. Also, try to avoid suppressing your emotions because Pluto deals with the deep and the hidden. So don't bottle things up. This is a really powerful time to face what you've been avoiding. And number three, let's avoid power struggles, okay? So if someone tries to dominate or challenge your authority, I want you to respond with a sense of strength and maturity, but don't feed the drama. Also, on Saturday, May 24th, Mercury will conjunct Uranus at 27 degrees of Taurus. Mercury rules communication and thinking patterns, and Uranus is the planet of awakening, change, freedom, and rebellion. So, with these two together, the result can be electrifying mental energy. Okay. So, this can be a time when your mind works in flashes and breakthroughs rather than a sense of linear logic. So, Mercury conjunct Uranus is perfect for genius level problem solving and for bold communication and for tech related innovation. But it can also lead to mental restlessness and nervous energy. So, three things to remember this weekend. I want you to capture your new ideas quickly. Okay. So, keep a journal or voice memo app handy because you might get a brilliant insight out of nowhere, but it will vanish just as quickly. And trust me on that because that happens to me quite often. So I usually have to take out my phone and make sure that I make note of whatever information I just received. Okay. This is also a great time to collaborate with others and develop something new, whether it's in art, business, or problem solving. So, any breakthroughs or insights that you receive, make sure that you take note of them immediately. Just as quickly, they could be gone. Number two, I want you to speak or write boldly. So, if you've been sitting on a radical idea or an opinion, this is the time to share it because your words can spark change right now. And number three, I want you to stay open to sudden changes in perspective. Be willing to pivot or shift your mindset if a more blatant or efficient path appears. And three things that we're going to avoid this weekend. We're going to avoid speaking without thinking. So Uranus energy can be extremely impulsive. Okay. So we want to avoid blurting things out, especially things that might shock other people or offend other people without giving context and without having some type of mindfulness about what we are saying. I also want you to avoid overloading your nervous system. So stay away from too much screen time, especially this weekend, and try to avoid the multitasking. If that's something that you normally do, like me, during strong Uranus transits, I just can't handle it. It's too much. So if you're like me, take a break from the multitasking and do things a little bit more with an intentional approach, focused on what you're doing. And also, a lot of stimulation. So if there's a lot of noise around you and that's something that kind of is triggering to you or a little bit destabilizing for you, that's something you're going to want to avoid this weekend. It could be even more acute on your system. And number three, let's not argue just to be contrary. So don't debate just for the sake of shocking someone else or for the sake of shock value or proving that you're different. This weekend is not really going to be the time to do that with all of the Uranian energy. We want to use it in more of a constructive way with receiving new information, receiving breakthroughs, and then allowing those breakthroughs to move us in a new direction in our lives. And finally, Saturday, May 24th. Saturn is moving into the fire sign of Aries. This is huge. Saturn has been in the water sign of Pisces. So when Saturn moves into Aries, remember, Saturn is the planet of discipline, structure, long term growth. He's going to enter the fire sign of Aries, and Aries is the sign of independence, action, courage, and identity. This is huge. And if you're not familiar, Aries, 0 degrees of Aries, that's one of the world points. So usually when we have a planet that moves there, the 0 degrees of Aries, we could see significant world events as well. So this transit will mark a powerful shift from the slower, more spiritual or collective energy of Pisces into a time where personal responsibility, leadership, and self assertion will take center stage. So, Aries is the sign of beginnings. And with Saturn here, we are called to get serious about who we are and what we are building through our own initiative. So, this transit will push you to become more self directed, more resilient, more courageous, but not without challenges to your ego. So, stay the course. And those are the transits for this week. I'd like to remind you the stars may guide us, but we hold the power to shape our destiny. So use all of this energy with intention, and I'll see you here again next week.